Well, we have Chuck Holland here with our VMS Director update, and boy, does he have some good information for us on our broadband. Well, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Nice to see you again, Lisa.
You too. And I know last time we talked a lot about the different services that are available, but now we're going to dive in a little more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
What we're here to talk about today is a lot of our broadband services initiatives that we've done over the past 2 years, and where we're going with the future of broadband as it relates to new products and services. Products and services like whole home DVR. We know over the last couple of years we've been really spending a lot of our time on infrastructure updates. The upgrades. All of these particular upgrades, all this heavy lifting that we're doing behind the scenes, it gives us the ability to start offering new services like the whole home DVR services. What we've done over the last couple of years to get ready for this is, and you've probably seen some of these updates before, is first and foremost, we have to make sure that our network has the transmission capacity, that we have enough internet speed and the transmission capacity to make these new TiVo and these new modern over-the-top services work.
Right.
So as part of that modernization effort, you've seen that we replaced our Simulsat satellite dish. That was a huge undertaking to provide new satellite capabilities for our entire cable network. We also upgraded all of our lasers out there at all of our nodes to triple the bandwidth speeds to our homeowners out there at no additional cost. And we also have started removing our analog services to free up that transmission capacity.
Right.
With the analog television stations, they take up 3 times as much more as a regular digital station. So as part of our analog digital conversion, our first set of analog channels that we removed were in February of this year. Now, our second set of channels that we're going to be, analog channels that we're going to be removing are on April 9th of this year, so coming up very, very soon. Now, what that does, by increasing the bandwidth speed and reducing the amount of transmission capacity that's on the network by reducing analog channels, that's really going to free up the resources that we need to start offering these new services.
Right, and then you also had mentioned that there's new lasers. So tell me about that.
Well, the lasers, it's not like the laser that you think from a sci-fi movie where you're shooting a laser or anything like that. It just, we have a very extensive fiber optic network here. It's probably one of the largest privately owned fiber optic networks in Orange County, I'm sure. And what it is at the end of each fiber optic cable, you have to have a laser, and that's how it communicates. Those particular lasers both are forward-facing lasers that shoot light from the head end out to the nodes, and from the nodes back to the head end. Those are all the lasers that we replaced. That's really, before we had 32 nodes, only 16 lasers, so one laser was going back and forth. Now we have one dedicated laser going forward and one dedicated laser going back. So that essentially doubled our transmission capacity there.
Oh, that's great. So then people generally won't have any issues as far as you're concerned.
Right, as far as I'm concerned right now, if we rolled out the whole home DVR solution right now to all the people who wanted it, there's not enough capacity on our network and there's not enough bandwidth on our network right now. That's why what you're going to see is, as we reduce the number of analog channels, it's going to increase the capacity that we have. That'll enable us to add more people to the new whole home DVR services.
Right, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. Okay, so tell me a little bit about, one thing I don't think we talked about is the emergency alert system.
Oh yeah, so as part, also some of those, the internal cable head-end technology, that always is being refined, upgraded, and one of the new things that we're looking at is adding the replacing our aging emergency alert system. The system we have in place now, I think it's 15, 20 years old, and so we realize that sometimes it's problematic and it's analog based, so moving to a digital based solution, and so if there's ever an emergency in the area, it's a more efficient way to communicate with the outside world, and particularly the with the local agencies, right? There's like a fire, earthquake, and that kind of, for the emergency responders to broadcast on our network. So that's something we're doing as well.
Perfect. Okay, so now let's have tell me a description of the whole home DVR. So tell me what that means.
Well, that's right. A lot of people, I think, are having the misconception that this whole home DVR is just something that they're just going to buy to replace their 2-channel DVR that they have right now. I just want to let people know that the whole home DVR is really that. It's really a type of technology that you want to have installed not just in your main viewing area, but in your bedrooms, your den, your office as well. That way that you can have one DVR in your home, and you can record and play shows from any room from one device. We have a lot of customers out there now that they have multiple DVRs. they'll have a DVR in their living room and they're recording their 2 shows in their living room, and then they have a DVR in their bedroom and they're recording their shows in their bedroom.
Right.
So now, guess what happens? If I want to see the shows I recorded in the bedroom, I got to watch them in the bedroom. If I want to see the shows I recorded in the living room, I got to watch them in the living room.
Oh.
With the new home DVR services, you'll be able to record shows from any room and watch them from any room from one device.
Right.
Now, let's talk a little bit about that. It's not just this is a computer system for your home. You have a server box that goes to your main viewing area that has to be hooked up to your cable modem. Right here we have an example of what that server box looks like. Right here's the TiVo unit. It's a couple pounds. This unit communicates with other units in your other rooms, so all those units can play DVR content from here.
Okay.
Now, you still need internet. You need cable TV, which everybody has in community.
Right.
And you also have to have internet access, because this TiVo unit it's showing your all your channels and what you're broadcasting through your regular cable TV network, but it's also showing you all the content that you would normally stream online: YouTube, Netflix, Hulu.
Okay.
So it's all of that kind of rolled into one device.
Okay. Now you mentioned earlier that it's whole home. So would you compare this, for instance, Cox Communications?
Yes.
People who don't live in the community have that, or maybe they've come from that. How does that compare to? I think it's called Contour.
Yes, Contour.
Okay.
This is very similar. Contour is it's a whole home DVR solution that Cox is offering. It's not TiVo. It's a different brand. We're using it's the same type of technology, but we went with the TiVo platform because TiVo partnered up with NCTC. That's our cable co-op company that we partner with.
Okay. All right. Good. And then, how many channels?
Well, it depends. Right now, if you have a TV plugged directly into the wall right now, you're really getting standard, mostly standard definition, and you're getting some high definitions if they're not encrypted, and you're only getting about 100 channels. However, if you have a set-top box, a DTA, or this particular type of unit, you're going to get up to 195 channels.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's a lot.
plus that includes music stations as well.
Right.
Not just all. It's music and as well as channels. But with the TiVo unit, you're not only going to get the stations, but now you're going to have the ability to watch content over the internet as well.
Okay. All right. And then, so essentially, I think you mentioned it's like a home computer?
Yeah, really. Essentially, that's what it is. You're really this technology is like hooking up a computer to your TV at home. So not only can you watch your TV in the traditional sense, where you can do channel surfing and flipping, but now you're able to go to those apps that are integrated into the TiVo, apps like Netflix and Hulu and YouTube, and watch content over the internet. So it's like
okay. So you still need to have internet.
You still need to have internet access. Exactly right.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So let's talk about the whole home DVR TiVo services now.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the detail, kind of nuts and bolts. What we'll do is we'll kind of go over the features of the new TiVo unit, and then hopefully we'll get a chance to take a look and see some of the new menu systems and how some of the apps work.
Okay.
So just kind of go along with that. Again, the question has been, what's the holdup? Why are we not rolling this out right away? As I mentioned, we have 10 testers out there right now. We have to get our customer service agents trained up on how to troubleshoot it. We have to get our technical staff up to speed on how to install it, and then we have to free up the capacity to start offering it. Right. So there's a very, very, very important sequence of events that we have to do. What we don't want to do is just roll a bunch of these TiVo units out there, we saturate the network, we bog everybody's internet speed down, and we don't get a good quality of service.
Right.
So right now, as we ramp up here, we have 100 people on our waiting list.
Right.
And so we're looking at I guess probably April, May timeframe to start rolling this out. The first big thing though is we've got to remove this next batch of analog channels to free up the capacity just to get these new 100 people onto the system.
Okay, so that's why you're asking them to wait. You've got the 10 people as a test.
Yes.
And then you do the other things that you said.
Yeah, exactly. As we reduce the number of analog channels on our network, freeing up the transmission capacity, this will allow us to increase the number of people that we can offer the whole home DVR services to.
Okay. Now 100 people are waiting, but there's a lot of residents. So how many could you actually support?
We can support we have about Right now, currently, we have about 6,000 homes that have some type of set-top box or DVR in them now.
Okay.
So we're looking to penetrate maybe 10 to 20% of those folks who want the whole home DVR.
Okay.
So I would imagine by the end of the year, we'll probably get a couple hundred installs done by the end of the year.
Oh, okay,
right?
that's super.
I'm not for sure if everybody wants the whole home DVR services. If you can still keep the existing DVR unit that you have now that has 2 channels or two.
Right.
You can only record 2 channels at once, and it has a 500 gigabyte hard drive. But that's fine. If you want to continue to use the old technology where you just want to scroll up and down and channel surf and record your shows, continue to doing what you want to do now.
Okay.
If you want to take advantage of the over-the-top technology like Hulu, Netflix, and the whole home DVR experiences, this is the solution for you.
Okay. And
Right.
and some of our older residents might be going, oh my gosh,
Right.
still too much information for me to know. So what
right.
would you recommend there?
Yep, it's the same thing. If you have a TV at home, keep in mind analog's going away, so you have an analog TV, that's the old tube-style TVs. Keep in mind you're going to need to upgrade to a digital television to get content, right?
Right.
But you can have your TV plugged directly into the cable box, right into the cable wire, right into the wall, and you can channel surf just like you always do. Just
Okay.
channel up, down in volume, that's it.
Okay,
Continue
good.
to do that. The folks out there that have a set-top box or a DTA now that has one of our universal remotes, they can continue to use them just like they always have.
Okay.
It's the new feature here. So those folks, the long-term people who are used to their TV experience in one way, they're going to continue to do it. It's the new folks that are moving in, the working adults, the people who are who've grown up with technology, who are demanding this type of service.
Exactly. Well, and it's not necessary, like you said. You don't have to do it.
No, this is just an add-on feature. This is a service level add that we're doing now. We're not taking anything away of the old DVRs at all. This is just an add-on service. So
Okay, well, let's
get
jump in and let's take a look at all the new features. And I know that you have a system here that we've hooked up, and we're going to take a look in just a second.
Well, first thing before we do anything is let's take a look at the remote. This is the new style of remote. It's a smaller form factor. It's really 2 remotes in one. The top remote right here is how we're going to be watching our live TV and broadcast. It has, you can pause your live TV, you can rewind live TV, you can record live TV.
Right.
You can also get to your guide from here. Channel up, down, volume, info, turn on your closed caption, removing your, turning on and off your closed caption. And there's some other, your guide, live TV, so on and so forth. The bottom half, this is where we're getting into the newer technology. This is where we're getting, you can see the Netflix button on there.
Right.
That's kind of built into it. But you can not only just use Netflix, but you can use this remote to get access to your Hulu account and to your YouTube account. Now, I think we had somebody had mentioned that you can also get Amazon Prime on here. As of right now, you cannot get Amazon Prime on here
Not yet. Okay.
It's something they're working on,
Right.
but not available yet.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing about it is, it's really important to know, just because you get the TiVo unit doesn't automatically mean that you're getting a Netflix account and Hulu account and a YouTube account for free. Those are additional services. You have to pay for your Hulu and Netflix account separately.
Right.
This is paid for separately.
Right. You mean you have access, but you just can't necessarily.
Right.
Don't you go to a
you can
homepage or something?
Yep, you can see the apps on here, but in order for you to turn the app on, it's going to ask you to log in with using your Hulu or Netflix account, so you can start seeing your content.
Okay. Great.
So that's what that looks like here. We've had some positive and negative feedback on this particular model. A lot of people don't like it. Some people love it, but it's I didn't really like it at first, but the more I use it, it's actually really handy.
Just
it's really
getting
cool.
used to
It's just getting used to it, right?
Right. Well, and they're probably going from several remotes to a single remote, right?
Thank you. Very good point. This is like a universal remote as well. I can actually change the inputs on my various different devices to control multiple devices with this one unit.
Oh, I see.
I know with our DVR unit now, you still have to have the remote control to turn on and off your TV, and then a remote that uses the DVR unit. This one right here, you can program it to your TV, so you can turn on and off your TV and turn on and off your TiVo unit with one remote control.
Oh, that's helpful.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know that with the system I'm using, man, we have 3 different ones, and where did that other one go? And it's always stuck in the couch somewhere.
Or the batteries are dead.
The batteries are dead, right?
Okay, so let's take a look.
All right, so let's go in.
Yeah, we've been seeing some TV in the background here. We're just going to briefly go over some of the high-level features on your phone. There's a ton of features here, but what we can do is, obviously, we're looking at live TV right now. We have an info button that you can hit, or I can quickly see what I'm seeing. I'm looking at Laguna Woods Artist Showcase, channel 406, gives us our Village Television HD. You can see the time the show's on, and then I can see if I can turn on and off my closed captions. That was one of the problems that we've had with the previous version of TiVo. You had to go to 4 or 5 different menu items to be able to get closed captioning turned on and off. Now it's within 2 clicks. Very cool. The next thing we want to take a look at is the TV guide. Very similar to what you have now. It looks a little bit different. I like it because it takes up a lot more screen. The text is pretty big.
Oh, and you can still view up here what you were watching.
You got like a little picture-in-picture deal there. And I can obviously, like any kind of TV guide, I can scroll up and down. I can see what's playing now. And if I wanted to see a show that was played earlier in the day, oh, yep, I missed my show. But I want to clear up a misconception. You can't go back in time to record a show. You can only, for your TiVo or your DVR functions, I can't go back to yesterday and record a show from yesterday. You can't do that. I can only record shows that are playing currently going forward. Okay. You can set your schedule. Okay. Okay. So it just works like anything else, right? So it's you can scroll out to the future, and then you can actually set your TiVo to record these shows. Up to 6 different shows you can record simultaneously. Okay. Right? All right. So let's just take a look here. We'll keep it on. We'll listen to Woods. You can see right here down at the bottom where you see that green bar.
Give them the green bar.
Since we've been playing this. Excuse me. Playing. Oops. Bear with me.
Where'd our green bar go?
There we go.
Come back.
Let's go ahead and pull it up here. So you can see right here, that menu right here.
Yep.
We've been watching it. So now I can actually rewind, wherever that green bar goes back to, I can actually rewind live TV and then forward live TV. And I can actually pause the live TV as well. Okay. So that's one feature that's really interesting. Okay. It's actually very handy. And with the TiVo functionality, like with the apps, there's a TiVo button on here. I can scroll over here to watch TV, or I can actually look at my apps. From here on my apps, I can get to my Netflix, my HBO Go.
And do those come up automatically?
You have to
as
program.
A default?
No, there are ones that we'll have on there that are default, but you can make your favorite list. You can control any of these icons or any of these apps. Now, keep in mind, these aren't free. A lot of these are not free apps. You have to have an account for Netflix, YouTube, whatever. Right. But with the TiVo unit, the whole DVR stuff, it comes with this viewed app, and this is really, really cool. This is what I'm talking about with the content that we have here that comes with the price of the TiVo unit. That includes movies, TV shows, it includes fitness and sports and games and all kinds of different content that you can get. Focus right here. That you're actually watching this content over the internet. It's not coming through your TV. We're streaming over the top now through these apps.
And these are free?
These are free as part of the price of the content. So you get all your particular movies. Looking at the top, we have I'm at all right now, but I can go to movies and TV series. I have all kinds of different games, poker, solitaire, Texas Hold'em, Pac-Man, Alien Shooter, all kinds of games that are built in here.
You don't have to go, like you can be in front of your television, and you don't have to get up and go to your computer. You could just do it right here.
Yep, you can play solitaire
that's kind of
right
nice.
Here. Yep.
Although now I'm going to be lazy.
Right, yeah. And then now Internet TV. Internet TV, eventually all TV is going to go over your internet. You're not going to have a channel 6 or a channel 5 or channel 4. You're going to have Cops. You're going to have Watch Mojo. Right. This is the future of what television. You won't be channel surfing through like a regular classical sense. You're going to be going to your internet TV and flipping through your channels like so. Wow. And then of course we have tons of music channels that are on here. Any type of jazz, blues, rock, pop, you name it. Sports, lifestyle, technology, kids, nature and travel. It goes on and on and on. So the features are definitely well worth it for the TiVo unit. Just for the online free content alone, I think it's worth the price of.
And then the channel guide. Thank goodness. I mean, this is a big TV, but you know, most people have fairly good sized smart TVs. Yeah. And what I had noticed with the one that I'm using is that they're so tiny. Yeah. And you bring up the guide and you can't read anything. At least this has nice.
It has a good size guide. This is a big screen, and I'll have to work with our technicians, but I do believe you can change the font size too to make it larger. Yeah. So we'll play that by ear, and when we roll out these units, we want to have them pre set up for our clientele.
Right. Okay. So how much is all of this?
Okay, great. That's good question. Okay, just for the actual TiVo unit alone, the unit is $24.95 a month. Okay. But the installation fee for the service is a bit more pricey because, again, we're building a whole home network. The installation fee is $100. Okay. One time $100 installation fee. I think for the regular DVR, it's a $40 installation fee. Okay. Okay, this goes into your main room. That's $24.95 a month. It includes all the DVR functionality, all the over-the-top streaming, and all that free content I just showed you.
Okay.
But to get your other TVs in your room to be able to connect to this, there's a separate charge. It's $7.95 a month for the secondary TVs to connect to this room. So it's not just $24.95.
Right.
Okay, we price this in such a way that if, let's say, you're a resident now and you have multiple DVRs in your home, you're paying I think it's $19.25 for your first DVR, $13.25 for your secondary DVR. So we're trying to get it where you can have the $24.95 plus the $7.25, trying to get it in the same ballpark as far as the
it's
cost.
much more streamlined.
Yeah, much more streamlined.
Okay.
Also, if your cable modem is next to your main viewing area, you can hook the DVR up to it directly. You don't need any additional components. However, if you have your cable modem that's in your office in some back closet someplace, the TiVo unit needs to have internet access. So there might be some additional components that you need. As the components additional $50. If your main viewing TV is not in the same location that your router is in, your cable modem is in, you have to buy an additional piece of equipment. So that could be $50 additional as well.
Right. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it as a one-time thing, but then thereafter, there's just those monthly
It's just
charges.
the $24.95 for the main box and the $7.25 for the other box.
Okay, so not bad, not bad. Now, with all of this, where do they go? How do they find out about it?
Right. For right now, we have a waiting list been going on. You call the Broadband Services number.
Okay.
We'll get that
There
out
it is.
there for you.
It's 837-2670.
Yep. You just call that number and tell them that you're looking to get on the TVR waiting list, and then we'll get you on the list and we'll work through you as first come, first serve. So, and again, in mid-April to early part of May, we'll start rolling the services out, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll get a couple hundred people utilizing the new technology.
Now, sometimes we end up having people come up to our station here on the third floor.
Right.
Let everybody know where Broadband Services is located.
That's a great question. So Broadband Services used to be on the third floor. So if you had a set-top box or a problem with your remote control, you used to come to the TV6 area or Broadband Service on the third floor. You don't do that anymore.
Right.
We made it really simple for you, especially for the folks in wheelchairs and walkers and canes and whatnot. As soon as you come into the front door of the community center, you hang a left right into Resident Services, and right there at window 9, we have a dedicated cable services rep.
Right.
They can issue you your box there. If you don't want to do a home install, if you want to do your self-install, you can come pick up your box, you can come drop off your box, you can come get a new remote control, we'll replace the batteries for you, whatever you need to do. But again, Broadband Services on the first floor in Resident Services, window number 9.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, you've heard it here from Chuck. Thank you so much. It was really nice to see you again and for all the great information. And if you have any broadband questions, you can call that number that Chuck mentioned. But most importantly, remember that Broadband Services is located on the first floor of the Community Services Building, and you can go to window number 9.